Infinity Pool is a 2023 science fiction horror film written and directed by Brandon Cronenberg, starring Alexander Skarsgård, Mia Goth and Cleopatra Coleman. The film follows a struggling writer and his wife on vacation who, after an accident, discover the country's dark culture. Cronenberg started developing the project in 2019, with production later being pushed back to 2021. Much of the cast joined the project that year, and filming took place primarily in Šibenik, Croatia. Infinity Pool premiered at the 2023 Sundance Film Festival on January 22, 2023, and was theatrically released in Canada on January 27, 2023, by Elevation Pictures. The film received positive reviews from critics, with praise for the atmosphere and Cronenberg's direction, but also criticism of its plot and storyline. Alexander Skarsgård as James Foster, Mia Goth as Gabby Bauer, Cleopatra Coleman as M. Foster, Jaleel Lespert as Albin Bauer, Amanda Burgle as Jennifer, John Ralston as Dr. Bob Moden, Jeffrey Ricketts as Charles, Caroline Bolton as Bex, Thomas Kretschmann as Detective Thresh. Novelist James Foster and his wife Em spend time at a resort in the fictional seaside country of Litalka, where a local festival is underway. The couple's chronic marital strife is exacerbated when Gabby, a fan of the only novel James has published to date, invites them to spend time with her and her husband Albin. The four have dinner and decide to spend the next day driving in the countryside, even though they have been warned that tourists are to remain on the resort compound at all times. At a beach, as James urinates behind a tree, Gabby unexpectedly grabs him from behind and proceeds to give him a handjob. After a long day of sunbathing and cooking, the tourists embark on a drunken drive back to their hotel. En route, James accidentally runs over a local man, killing him. Gabby insists that they cannot call the police, as the country is corrupt and they will not be safe. The next day, James is arrested and is told that the penalty for his crime is death at the hand of the dead man's firstborn son. However, the country has a unique system of justice whereby the guilty, for a hefty fee, can be cloned and have their duplicates killed in their place. James, who married into money, pays the fee to have a double killed before his eyes. Em is horrified by the entire affair and wants to leave immediately, but James is titillated by the spectacle and wants to stay. He hides his passport, claiming that he has lost it, and encourages Em to return to the United States. James extends his stay by a week and encounters Gabby and Albin again. They introduce him to a small group of Western tourists who all have been convicted of serious crimes and have paid to watch their doubles killed. These people return to the resort annually, commit heinous crimes, and pay to watch their doubles get slaughtered. Over the next several days, they encourage James to transform into a libertine criminal, encouraging him to kill locals, engage in intoxicated orgies, and abuse the resort staff. James is rattled one night when he is tricked into brutalizing a clone of himself he had been led to believe was the police detective who initially arrested him. In a moment of clarity and panic, James retrieves his hidden passport and attempts to flee. But the tourist group accosts him and abducts him from the bus, transporting him to the airport. Gabby reveals that she finds him pathetic and that the group is abusing him for their own amusement, hoping to turn him into a fellow murder tourist. He runs off into a nearby wilderness. Gabby shoots him in the leg as he flees. After hours of wandering, James collapses at a farm, where a local family takes him in to recuperate. In his drugged state, he experiences a series of hallucinations. Once he has regained his strength, he is again confronted by Gabby's group, who order him to kill a duplicate of himself to complete his transformation. He initially refuses, but when the clone attempts to kill him, James beats him to death. As a reward, Gabby exposes her bare breast to James, inviting him to breastfeed. The next day, as they head back to the United States, The other tourists casually chat about upcoming errands, while James is visibly shaken from the events of the past few days. Waiting in the airport for his flight, he resolves to remain behind instead. He returns to the closed resort, where he sits alone amidst the downpour of the monsoon. Infinity Pool grossed $1.1 million from 1,835 theaters on its first day of release. It went on to debut to $2.7 million, finishing 8th at the box office and outgrossing the lifetime domestic run of the director's father's 2022 release, Crimes of the Future, $2.4 million. It dropped out of the box office top 10 in its second weekend with $900,000. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 87% based on 198 reviews, with an average rating of July 1, 10. The site's critical consensus reads, "Turbulent waters even for strong swimmers." Infinity Pool provides a visceral all-inclusive retreat of Cronenbergian perversion for those wanting to escape commercial sundries. On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score of 72 out of 100 based on 45 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of C, on an A+ to F scale, while those polled by PostTrack gave it a 52% positive score, with 28% saying they would definitely recommend it. Reviewing Infinity Pool following its premiere at Sundance, David Fear of Rolling Stone described the film as being laced with a rage, an edge and a warped satirical sensibility that feels unique, and uniquely unnerving enough to kill talk of family coattails. Praising Cronenberg's screenplay and direction, as well the lead performances. The film is a New York Times Critics' Pick, with Jeanette Katsuli's writing, surreal, sophisticated, and sometimes sickening. Infinity Pool suggests that while the elder Cronenberg might be fixated on the disintegration of our bodies, his son is more concerned with the destruction of our souls. Esther Zuckerman of Vanity Fair commended the cast performances, particularly Goff's, but was overall mixed on the film, asserting that it is provocative with questionable payoff. Comparing the film to Possessor in a positive Los Angeles Times review, Katie Walsh wrote that Infinity Pool is larger in scope than its predecessor, the narrative grander, sharper, funnier and more wickedly perverse. Megan Navarro of Bloody Disgusting also gave the film a positive review, writing, "Cronenberg's sense of style, paired with an unrelenting sense of dread and tension and two utterly captivating, depraved leads ensure these provocative waters are well worth wading into."